Welcome back to Universal Journey Talk, Part 4 of Episode 5.
Because before they would just land and do whatever they wanted. Now they can't land so easily. So that, in other words, in a way, it makes me feel a little bit more secure with how, powerful you could say humanity has become. Because now they can't just come right down and just do whatever they want overtly. Now they kind of got to sneak around a little bit if they are really amongst us. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I can understand to a degree. I just like if you were talking to like an alien, it, and in a lot of ways, if you're like, well, why don't you guys just come down, or or the ones that are already out here, like I think many of them are like, well, we actually do. But if you mean just like come down and introduce ourselves to you and let everybody know,
Why
they
not?
would be like, no, and I do believe they call it, disclosure, or there's going to be this full disclosure at some point. But right now, I think the aliens are kind of like, the truth is, right now, you guys, you're just not ready. like you guys
Fair
may
enough.
think you're ready, but actually, it may cause a lot more problems. Because if you look at the public and just the way people are so like stuck where we're like it would change their belief systems and or religious, and they just wouldn't understand it in many ways, and that like it's not that they're not, or that they're not gonna reveal themselves, and but it's like they're like, what's the rush right now, you know what I mean, but like reveal themselves to a race of that obviously it just has still a lot of work to do, you know what I mean, and like they they have their reasons, and in many ways where just right now not to intervene until it's really time to intervene, which in many ways it's not like they haven't already, it's just if we're waiting for them to come down in a ship and start saying to everybody, we come in peace, and like we're gonna start, I did this, not right now.
All right.
And
Hey, you
I
know
think
what?
there's a lot of good reasons for that. Like I can understand when they're like, because you guys just aren't ready. It's kind of like eminent you're not ready. You can look around, you can see like, I mean, you can, if an alien came down and was like, I come in peace, you don't know the way people act. They could just start shooting or do whatever. Like they just, we're just we still got a lot of evolving to do. And the thing is, it's not like who's saying that they're not going to be coming anytime soon. Everybody thinks, oh, if they exist, they have to come right now. They have to come right now. It's like most people wouldn't even understand what a third eye is, let alone be ready for an intelligent human species, or I mean, an alien species that's probably way, way more advanced than we are, even close. That, you know what I mean? That, like, again, probably could barely even speak any primitive language. It'd be more telepathy. We just wouldn't. We're just not there. And like I said, it is, and it doesn't mean maybe 5 years from now, maybe or maybe not. But it's not like it's you know something that it's not like it's never gonna happen. It is like, I don't, what's the rush? I mean, if somebody said, if the aliens were like, well, let's be real, you guys seen how many sightings of us already, and so was that imminent, or you guys, humans just believe they're all fake sightings and wouldn't even understand that? You know what I mean? But like by now, with all the sightings and these things, where it almost be kind of hard to say how is there not aliens? You know what I mean? But
Well,
we
so here's my question. Yeah, if you're almost saying, well, then yeah, how is there not aliens? Then my thing is, I believe that humans are well equipped to adapt and adjust. That's what we've done all throughout the millennia to
yeah,
survive. And I think that, when aliens come, yeah, some people are going to freak out, but for the most part, what are you going to do? Like start shooting up in the air? That's not going to do anything. You know what I mean? So really, when you kind of think about it, and then like you were saying, like, oh, but it would change people's religious beliefs and stuff. I don't really think so, and here's why. Because let's say they did overtly just start landing here and whatever. Um, and like, how would it change people's belief in God? They'd be like, I mean, like, just because there's aliens doesn't mean that there's no God. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
So that wouldn't be too much of an issue. They would just say, oh, okay, well, God also made extraterrestrials, so it wouldn't really change like anyone's beliefs. Really, I don't see how aliens changes any of that. So to me, it's just, if anything, all it just simply answers is, are we alone in the universe or are we not alone in the universe? And how we can maybe learn new technologies if they're willing to share. Which, by the way, I think, once again, kind of like you mentioned. Let's say, okay, some people try to shoot him and stuff like that. Once again,
well,
that does
look at the government does.
that does
Big
warrant.
government.
So that does kind of warrant, once again, that um, that they have to be worried about our technology, worried that they can get killed by us, which once again kind of points back to what I'm saying is why maybe they're not so overt. Maybe they are a little more secretive because they are afraid of our technology being able to kill them. Or, well, I'm just saying, based off of what you just said, they might be worried that they're going to get shot. So I'm saying that does kind of warrant what I'm saying. But
Anybody would. I don't
but
think
the
anybody
bottom
wants to get
line,
shot at.
well, I'm just saying. So the bottom line is, look, of course, if they are amongst us or whatever that is, clearly they have the reasons not for being seen or something. I personally think that that's the only thing that gives me a degree of doubt with how much they're actually interacting with us, because I kind of feel like, why do you have to do it secretively when you can just do it straight up overtly? This way we can all start to learn from each other. And, and I know how you're saying, oh, well, we're not ready for it. Okay, but if we weren't ready for it, then why were we apparently ready thousands and thousands of years ago when they came and lived amongst us? We were apparently ready for them then. So like we went. So we're going backwards. I think we've gone forward. I think we're so much more civilized compared to the primitive ways that we used to live back in the day. I mean, we were, all of our, our rules and things, the way that we did things were so much more primitive. Now, I think we've come a lot of ways in our societies. So I think at least we're a lot more civilized, and we'd be way more adapt to being able to accept them, as well as the fact that, like you were mentioning, there's so much, like sightings and all this stuff that it's almost like, why wouldn't you believe? So in other words, I don't think it would be that shocking if, aliens land. I think it would just be like, okay, how do we deal with this? And then, we just start to, create a new paradigm,
I think human beings were way more connected to closer to source and understanding nature and things way back in ancient time. I think man has lost all that. I think man is actually only run by ego, and everything's just war. Just warmongers. Like, even like when we said, do you know how many times, or like when there's been alien sightings and the government automatically sending their airplanes out, and they be shooting at them. The minute you come in within radar, like this is not a planet that aliens can just come visit. It's not that type of planet. You're actually not allowed to. You know what I mean? You come here, you're gonna get shot at. It's not a friendly planet like. And human beings now have lost way more of their intuitive or that bond to just nature, or conscious contact to source and to being or in to love. You know what I mean? It's like this world has gotten very violent. I don't think we're more what's the word you said?
Civil.
What'd you say?
Civil or
Civil? Yeah, we're more civil now. I'm like, I don't know about that. I think that that depends. Like what is our definition of being civil, really? You know what I mean? I think we're very dumbed down. I think we're a species that's been dumbed down more than probably than 3,000 years ago, 300,000 years ago. I think the reason why like they were able to do things that were so big and build pyramids and things is people were just more on board and can communicate so much better. I think after like when you use stories like the Tower of Babylon, people started splitting up. You can see that I just think communication levels and everything went horrible, and we're at a point where really um, we're having a hard time really even keeping our planet safe. Like we're on the verge of destroying. So I don't see us being civilized in any way, and came not like if we're going by like we came a long way as far as technology, maybe, but not even. I think there's technology that's still way that would far exceed what we have now, and but I think our egos have totally, came a long way.
Well, I mean, I definitely agree that our ego certainly is still. I agree. Yeah, ego is a big thing because clearly, that takes our connection further away from source, whatever. But I don't know. I guess that's just something where we're just gonna have to agree to disagree because when I look at like the rights that even people have today compared to what they had back in the day, women were always second class in almost every other century before us. Including hold on, take a note, including like just general rights. I mean, if we look at, I don't know, just how people were treated, like I don't know, if someone had ailments and stuff, they could be well, we see how black people were treated for so long. And then just even past that, it's almost like, I mean, the rights that people have now, I think on a civil level are way better than the way people were treated back in, like, I mean, you look at like medieval times and stuff, and like the peasants were treated like crap. That's why the average lifespan was only about to like mid 30s or early 40s and stuff because life was so terrible. So including, I mean, also on a like whatever level of trying to be more healthy. Now, granted, there was a long time ago where we had all healthy foods. Now we don't have as much healthy foods. But I think the lifespans of humans it's clearly is way longer than it has been all through the past. But I don't know. But like, okay, now granted, I'm an American. Well, listen, I'm just saying. Look, I'm an American, so I understand that Americans in a lot of ways have more rights than maybe like other third world countries and things like that. So I'm coming from my perspective. But even overall, there's a lot of things where it's like people in general didn't have rights because back in those days, like the old days, whatever, it's like you got kings and queens, and everyone was just like a peasant, and they got treated really, really bad. There wasn't like health care and all this other stuff. So I think are still like on a civilized level, like even like if you look at like things that even like in the Bible that like Jesus said, which was like so ahead of his time. A lot of the things that he said back then, which is like, oh, forgive a person and all this other stuff, that's great because now it's like for stuff that they can hang you for and whip you in the streets for. Like you could be hung in the streets, you could be tarred and feathered in the streets, you could be burned in the streets, you could be beheaded in the streets. There was a whole lot of stuff which was extremely inhumane for centuries throughout human's history. It's only been more in recent times that you can't do these things to people anymore. So I think there's a lot of things that makes us very civilized in a lot of ways.
But you gotta, Kirk. One thing though, sometimes when they talk about what happened back in medieval times, which, and yeah, that's a time, but even when I'm talking about time, when we're talking about like Anunnaki, that's way beyond medieval time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, medieval times is still looking like we're looking at the Piscean Age as like from Jesus' time, that was the Piscean Age up until now. We're only starting to go into the age of Aquarius now, and it's just starting. It hasn't even begun yet. It's about to begin. So the medieval time, you want to call the Dark Ages, actually, this is still the Dark Ages. We're only about to go into the Golden Age now. So, like for the past for the past 1,000 years, 2,000 years, It's that's relative. That's not as long as you think.
Thanks for watching this segment of the full episode to be posted Sunday afternoon. Much more to be discussed in the next part, so give this video a like, leave your comments for us to reply to in future episodes, and stay notified by hitting the subscribe button.